Hello,
Hello,
and
and welcome
welcome back
back
to
to Two
Two
Cents,
Cents.
our new podcast. This week, we have some cool topics. We're going to give you a quick update on how our tour is going, give you some updates on where we're going to be so you don't miss us next. Then, we're going to talk about the WNBA season, or regular season at least, just wrapped, and we are season ticket holders.
Yeah,
So, how much did our tickets cost? Will we be renewing? And did we think that the price was worth it? And then the last topic we're going to talk about is presidential
presidential
candidates.
candidates. I
Hey,
got
Jinx,
you.
you owe me a Coke. We're going to talk about how rich they all are. I have the numbers. And how that value compares to the average American.
Yeah.
So, how do these presidential candidates compare financially to all of us? Let's get into it.
So we just got back from New York.
Yeah.
Overall, went really well.
Went great. Yeah, we got to meet up with one of our team members. Hopefully, we're going to be bringing Drea on full time soon. She's been part time with us for the last year. By the way, we met Drea, who is our brand manager, for lack of a better term, at our first birthday party.
Yeah.
So if you guys, well, we're not hiring right now, but just to let you know, if you come to our events, we are regular people who are hiring and looking for talented people to bring on the team.
Yeah.
And we are doing exactly that with someone who was, a fan of our show, a fan of what we did, and now works on our team with us. So that's what can happen if you come to some of our workshops or events coming up, which brings us to what do we have coming up on the docket, James?
Dun-dun-dun-dun. The Big E.
The Big E. If you are listening to this on Wednesday or when it comes out, we will have already
Had gone.
had gone to the Big E State Fair, which is basically all the northeastern states like
Yeah.
Connecticut,
Connecticut.
Vermont, Massachusetts. They all have this state fair called the Big E State Fair. Fingers crossed it goes well and we
Yeah.
don't get kicked out. What do we have coming up for people who are listening?
Saturday, we are coming to the Texas
Texas.
State Fair.
Ow.
Yeah, so look out for us there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely come say hi. By
Yeah.
all means, we usually have little goodies like stickers.
Oh, we will have goodies. We just ordered a bunch of cool merch for the tour. So if you come say hi, even if you don't want to do an interview, that is totally fine. We will have stickers and some free goodies for you. And we'd
Yeah.
love to meet you. So hopefully we'll see you at the Texas State Fair. And then we're going to be coming to Miami on October 22nd, Richmond October 24th, Boston on October 29th, and then we'll be back in DC at the Georgetown Capital One Cafe on the 30th. So hopefully we'll see you there. Keep an eye out for signups for all those events. Most of the time, the last four that I just mentioned, those are workshops. So you have to sign up to attend. But
Yeah.
at every single location we just mentioned, we will be doing interviews in like a public location. So you won't have to sign up. We'll just tell you where we'll be and hopefully we'll run into you there.
Yeah, so if you aren't following us on social media, you should be.
You definitely should be. If you're not following on Instagram, I definitely would head over to the IG right now and give us a follow because we are most communicative about that's a big word, communicative about our locations and tour stops because I'm not team Instagram or anything, I'm team TikTok, but I will give Instagram this the way that you can use stories to like communicate with our community, tell people where we are, have fun with it is way better than stories on any other platform. And so we are really, really communicative with our community on Instagram. So
Yeah.
hopefully you're following us there. But let's get into the episode.
Yeah. So let's start off with how much were our season tickets?
First of all, shout out the WNBA and the Washington Mystics. I'm repping my Shakira Austin shirt today. How much were our tickets? So yeah, if you don't know, we are season ticket holders. It is the first time that we are season ticket holders.
Yep, first year.
With this season that just wrapped. Before we bought our season tickets, we went to like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4
just to
games.
make sure that we liked the team,
Yeah.
that we wanted to support them and stuff, and we fell in love. So we bought our season tickets for this season for $2,583, which is about $1,300 per person.
Yeah, because that's two tickets, the pricing.
And we got for that section 112, row E, seats 7 and 8, which, if you can use your imagination, is basically facing the Mystics team home bench in Entertainment and Sports Arena, which is a smaller arena than Capital One. That's
Yeah.
where the Mystics play, not Capital One at ESA. That arena goes all the way up to the 200 section. Capital One is like the big arena downtown. That goes up to the 400 section. So almost all the home games were at this smaller arena,
Yeah.
which really was a very intimate experience with the players.
I'd say like about a college
Yeah, like a
team's
college arena.
arena. Yeah.
Yeah.
To where like it's big enough. It's definitely not high school. I mean, like,
No.
yeah, but it's still small enough to where
Couple
like,
thousand people in
yeah,
there.
to where like us sitting in our seats, we're able to yell to the court, communicate with the players. We trash talk,
We love a
respectfully.
good heckle.
Yeah, but like, we're still close enough
Mhm.
versus like Capital One. If you're in the 400 section, honestly,
Oh,
you're
you're
looking
not
at
seeing
ants.
nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But with
There's
that,
no bad seat in Entertainment and Sports Arena.
correct. That's what I was about to say.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
But yeah, there's no
Twang.
bad seats there. So with that, how much are our tickets going to be for this upcoming season?
So we've decided to renew, and this time I paid $3,420 total dollars, which is $1,700 per ticket. Same seats. We're staying in the same area. It's an extra $400 more, $800 total about.
Okay.
I actually was expecting the price to go up higher, so I was really pleasantly surprised with what the total amount was. Personally, and I'll start with this about whether or not I think it's worth it. Obviously, I think it's worth it because we're renewing.
Right.
But
Correct.
I think a lot of the reason behind renewing and choosing to become season ticket holders in the first place was, putting our money where our mouth is.
Right.
I am a huge supporter of women's sports, the WNBA, and I wanted to do my part. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part.
Sorry, I speak in internet. So, okay, back on track. I wanted to, put my money where my mouth is and for lack of a better term, really support them that way. So,
Yeah.
and the fact that now we are making a lot more than we were before, it's a dream come true to be where we are today. I figured, that is money put in a good place, supporting women's sports, really, supporting the organization and the W. I am more than happy to renew.
Yeah.
But whether or not it was worth it is kind of a dicey answer. Let's get into it. What were the pros, James?
So first, the seats. We did get special gifts. As a Club 52 member, that's what they call us. We got an end of the season gift bag, which, those came with a few items.
What was it? A mug, like a Tervis cup,
Yeah,
one
it
of
was
those
like-
cold cups?
Yeah, it was one of those in a like a
A grocery
A-
bag with the
yeah,
logo on it?
reusable
Yeah.
bag. And then we got like player meet and greets.
That wasn't exclusive to us, though, I don't think.
I don't think so.
And there's a con to that we'll get into. But
Yeah.
we did get access to that. We got like first come, first
Yeah, first
serve
come, first
access
come,
to
serve.
it. And all those gifts, at the games, like the jersey, the hats, the bobbleheads. We
But-
got that, but so
yeah,
did everybody
But
else.
everybody else did too.
Which is the one of the cons that we'll get into. I would say another pro is just like the experience of being there, like especially it's really relative to the seats, but just like being able to see the players
Yeah.
and like see their facial expressions, see the interactions, really like up
Yeah.
close and personal. That's cool. But if you're a season ticket holder, you can get a seat anywhere in the
Correct.
stadium. It
Correct.
doesn't have to be right there. So there's different values of the seats, but I would say there's no bad seat in that arena.
Same.
But
Now,
I mean,
what are some of the cons?
yeah, I mean, I other than that, there's not really much more pros. It's a basketball game. You're going
Yeah.
to a basketball game. There wasn't much else that came with that, and I
we
guess that goes.
that was the
into-
other thing. We got the 10% off.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got 10% off all like any team merch, which only amounted to like $5 off a $50,
T-shirt.
T-shirt. But a discount is a
Right.
win is a win.
A win is a win.
win. Unfortunately, being season ticket holders did not mean that our team was better.
Mhm, no.
We actually we're not making the playoffs. The regular season just ended last night. Thankfully, we beat Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever at home at Capital One Arena. Had a fantastic game against them, really showed out. But
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that was the best game of the season, and we lost how many?
26 games.
26 games, and we won 14.
Yeah.
So being a season ticket holder does not guarantee that the
The
team is
W.
better. You might have a really, really bad season and you paid for it and you ain't getting your money back.
Correct.
So what are the cons? I think my issue with the season ticket experience is there's not really a season ticket experience.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like we mentioned earlier, a lot of the gifts, like the bobbleheads, for instance, those weren't
Set
season
aside.
ticket, exclusive. It was first 1,500 people to come. So by all means, you could be a season ticket holder, but if you aren't one of those 1,500, then you don't get it. Also, parking.
Parking at Entertainment and Sports Arena is garbage. I
Yeah.
actually prefer Capital One because you can Metro.
Yeah, the metro's right there.
Metro's right there, but there is a Metro also at Entertainment and Sports Arena, but we haven't taken it.
Yeah.
We drive just because it's way more convenient, but it's not convenient at the same time. It's $20. Everybody goes in the same lot. And so it's a nightmare to come out because there's only like one entrance, one exit,
Yeah.
basically.
The parking garage.
Oh man, we would have to leave games early because if you leave at the
You're gonna
same
be
time as everyone
sitting
else
in that parking
for
garage
30 minutes
at
minimum.
least. Yeah.
That sucked. There's also no special entrance for season ticket holders. You're going in the same entrance as everyone else, which, like, whatever, it's fine. For a while there, that was a big con to us, I
Yeah,
think,
but then
because it took so long to get in. They had a
yeah,
really archaic system. Archaic. They would, scan your ticket and then you have to like go through the metal detector, but now
empty your
they've got
pockets and your
empty
bags.
all of that. So it took
Yeah.
forever. So you were in line in the sun because there's no shade
Or in the rain,
or in the rain, and you're waiting in line for a long time to get
Yeah.
in. But now that it's sped up, they have a new system. So that's kind of not a problem anymore. But yeah, there's not really a special experience. One thing that always gets on my nerves when we're at the games is they really, really give a special experience to people that are on the court.
Yeah, the
Like the
VIPs.
VIPs.
That's why they have a VIP entrance though.
Right. They have a VIP entrance. They always have special food, which is another thing, another con. The food at Entertainment and Sports Arena is garbage.
Right. You have two or
You have
three
two options.
three hot food options.
3 hot food options: a hot dog, chicken tenders, or pizza. And it's all bad. And the
Yeah.
customer service is terrible. But yeah, the customer service is not good. The player meet and greets.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing to have access to, but I don't think that was exclusive to season ticket holders either. We just had first come, first serve to save our spot.
Yeah.
And the experience was
It wasn't even
really
a meet and greet. It
terrible.
was
so disappointing.
it was a grab a poster that's a signed picture of them and keep walking. And
Well,
like
so
that was
how would
it.
it work? They would have the players down there at a table
Right after the
signing.
game.
They had these pictures next to them of themselves that they would sign, and we would all line up. And you get like 5 seconds with the
If
players.
that.
They keep that line moving. And the worst part was you can't bring your own stuff to get signed. So if you have a jersey, they're not
That
going to
you
sign
just
it.
bought from the shop.
Or a basketball,
Yeah.
they're not going to sign it. Like the organization doesn't let you get other things signed other than the signed poster of themselves that they have right there. And then you also couldn't get a picture. Some of the fans at some of the meet and greets, because we went to every single one, so we got to meet a lot of the players barely.
Barely.
They would try to get pictures, ask for permission, not forgiveness, I guess.
Right.
Go them. But then like the security and the staff would get irritated at all of us waiting in line, don't ask for pictures, don't get pictures, telling us
Yeah.
off because they did. And then they would move the line even faster. And I'm like, why even host this if it's such an inconvenience for
Yeah.
you?
The cool part was that we got to see them, but like at
Yeah.
the same time, like, yeah, there was no conversation. There was no, hey, can I
It
get a
would have been
selfie really
so
quick?
cool to get
Yeah.
a ball signed
Yeah.
for our jerseys.
Also, we kept doing them after the games, and we
Mhm.
lost a lot of the home games.
So they were never in a good mood.
Yeah, but like you can
Which is
tell that, like, yeah, they were like
understandable.
trying to be happy, but like I get it. Like you just
Hey, you
lost.
don't
That
wanna
doesn't feel
lose.
good.
They're athletes.
Yeah, they're
They're
athletes. Yeah.
professional athletes. They
Yeah.
don't care about, sitting there and signing stuff when they just lost. They want to go
Which,
mope.
but that's the thing. Why don't they do it before the game
Why
then?
don't they do it before
Yeah.
the game? Yeah.
But
Other
yeah,
things,
I mean the fact that like as season ticket holders, the last game we were in the stands with a bunch of Fever fans.
yeah, they didn't put us with other Mystics
Yeah.
season ticket holders. We were just kind of dispersed around. And what was really irritating is we had seats at Entertainment and Sports Arena. So the tickets that we got with our season tickets were always in the same place at ESA.
Yeah.
But when we went to Capital One, we had like 3 or 4 games at Capital One Arena.
One of them, they kind of was like, yeah, there's 3 different sections you can go to.
Yeah, they didn't even
Yeah.
give us assigned seats. They were like, just go to these sections. And then we went and there were a bunch of kids. So, like, we actually didn't even get good seats to that game, which is my point that it was really irritating that they would say, we're going to give you seats that are the equivalent value of your seat at ESA at Capital One Arena. And I'm sorry, but I don't agree with whatever
Yeah.
calculations they ran there, because make it make sense that the people that we sit right next to at ESA, literally on our right, which means that they have great seats, but ours are slightly
Yeah, closer
better.
to half court.
At Capital One Arena yesterday, we were behind them
By
by
like
like 2 or 3
2 or 3
rows.
rows.
That makes no sense. They
Yeah.
had better seats. So I don't know what calculations they're doing, and then there was that one game where we didn't even have the seats. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous. So you're not, for those games, I feel like that was a shot. Like it was a loss
Yeah.
that I would have rather had the choice to buy my own seats to those games and be in
Yeah, just
control
give
of
me a
that.
discounted rate because I'm a season
Right.
ticket holder.
Right. So was it worth it, James?
Overall, because like I know that our dollar helps support the players and the organization, yes, it was worth it. Because
And
at
I'd
the
do it again.
well, because especially like at the end of the day, we attended all the home games. You know, we
Yes.
made it worth it. And that's what it was.
Right, but good point. If you are thinking about buying season tickets to the next game, our 2 cents on that would be make sure that you're going to be able to attend all the home games, or if not, you have friends or family that would happily take your ticket, buy it off you. You can donate it.
Yeah, you can donate it.
You can donate your tickets that you don't go to service members. Actually, the
Yeah.
Mystics has that set up, so that's a cool thing. But I think it's important to get the value out of your dollar. So be sure that you can attend the games. I would say that it's a costly investment, so
Yeah.
don't enter it unless you are comfortable financially. We are at
Oh,
that point
definitely,
now where we're
definitely.
like, okay, we can donate to charity, and in a way, this kind of feels like a charitable donation because you're supporting.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not charity, but it feels like money that we can kind of give towards an organization that we really support, that we don't miss. I wouldn't do it if you're not in that position yourself. The other thing is, if you do want to go to games, but you don't want to make that investment, I would take matters into your own hands, because you can buy great seats
Yeah,
to these
definitely.
games ahead of time that are in the 100 section. I mean, shoot, you might have better seats than us sometimes, and the price is about the same. So the only thing that I would say, the value, like the benefit of having the tickets, is if you're a Las Vegas Aces fan, those tickets
Yeah.
are very expensive. So the value of being a Mystics fan is we're not that great. We had a really bad season. We ended 14
Unfortunately.
and 26. So ticket prices are generally low, which means that you can go for a good price, an affordable rate. The tickets to the game last night at Capital One Arena against the Indiana Fever, they were over $200 in our
Oh, yeah.
section. So, if you want to do the math of did we save money, I think we did.
In the long
So
run, yes, we definitely saved money. Because if we
100%.
went with that standard, $100 for our seats
Mhm.
for the whole season, we would have spent about, what, $2,000?
But I think if you wanted to go attend all the home games and be in, like, quote unquote nosebleeds at
Yeah.
every one, you'd probably save money. It'd be cheaper than what we paid for the entire
Oh,
season.
yeah, because some of those seats go for like $30, $40.
Yeah, literally $20. And like we said, Entertainment and Sports Arena, there's not a bad seat in the house. Like the 200 section, you can see their faces from where
Yeah.
we're at, but the
They still
400
get put on the
section at Capital One,
Jumbotron.
yeah, they get put on the Jumbotron. They do a lot of games where, like, you buy a ticket to get a giveaway item.
Yeah.
So you can still get exclusive giveaway items. You can go to the bobblehead games and be one of the first fans to get a bobblehead. Even the meet and greets, you can sign up for that if you're one of the first to do it, after season ticket holders get first come, first serve.
Yeah.
You can still get all the value of being a season ticket holder. It's not like we have special parking or special entrance. You're eating the same food as us too.
Right.
You can have the same experience for a much cheaper rate for cheaper tickets. Or you can invest in the W and pay a little extra. But those are just our 2 cents. All right, now let's get into some tea. So, I came across this really interesting article on the Washington Post where they broke down how rich each presidential candidate is compared to the average American. And they really they get into it. So, let's start with Miss Kamala Harris. Do you know how much her net worth is?
I don't know, probably 2 mil.
8 mil. Her
Okay.
net worth is $8 million. And let's break out, some of the things that she has. So for her salary as vice president of the United States, and by the way, all these salaries are completely transparent because the federal government it is financially
Yeah,
transparent.
they're
You're like,
supposed to
you
be.
know how much every single person in the government makes. So her salary is public. She makes $284,000, $284,600. That's her salary. She also is married. So her husband, Doug Emhoff, is, I think he's a law professor now. He used to be a very accomplished lawyer where he was making a lot of money, but he quit that to support her. So we love a supportive
Yeah, I
spouse.
know. Woo woo.
But together, their combined salary based on their tax returns, which they report, no tea intended, but tea intended,
Right.
is nearly $400,000 on their 2023 tax return. So actually, it's kind of crazy. We got in trouble for talking about the value of 200K. I would have thought she'd be making a lot more as VP, and
Yeah.
combined. But I guess $400,000, that's a good amount of money,
Yeah,
solid
that's
amount of
pretty
money.
solid. Yeah.
They talk about her investment income. Her and her husband reported over $50,000 in taxable interest from Wells Fargo bank accounts. Why did they go with Wells Fargo?
The worst bank out there.
Interesting. From Wells Fargo bank accounts on their 2023 tax return, the pair also hold more than $2 million. Here's where the money is
Yeah.
in different investment and retirement funds, including several ETFs and funds that invest in multiple stocks. So like index funds.
Yeah, index funds.
So yeah, that's where their money is. Their money is in the stock market, which is a really interesting side tangent here about how we feel our 2 cents on whether or not government figures should be allowed to invest.
Yeah,
Hard no.
definitely not. I mean, like, I understand long-term investment plans.
Yeah, 401ks,
Yeah,
that's different.
that's different. But if you're making decisions to influence the market, then I don't think that you should be allowed to.
Or having access to knowledge that
Yeah,
would influence the market.
correct. Yeah.
That's not fair.
And I know that there's been like politicians that have gotten in trouble for insider trading,
Miss
things like that.
Pelosi rings a few bells.
Correct. You are giving them the keys and telling them don't go inside.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's not. I don't know. I don't want to make a
or
hard
you're
accusation.
allowing
but
them
it's
to
kinda,
make the keys and then saying, "Hey, don't go
Yeah.
inside."
Imagine they are, having an interview or something. They're speaking with somebody who works in tech or AI, and they're like, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing. We just want to know, what the business is doing, yada yada. And they tell them, oh, well, we're actually going to really put a lot of investment into this technology, and now those people have access to knowledge that could definitely benefit their stock accounts and
Yeah.
their portfolios that the general public doesn't have access to. I just think it should be the way that their pay is transparent. Their investment portfolios should be as well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And I think
Yeah.
it is. It is, but it doesn't make it right. I don't
Yeah.
think they should be allowed to trade. That's just my 2 cents. Other than that, Miss Kamala Harris has real estate. She has a mortgage. Guess how much her mortgage is? I guess they own a multi-million-dollar house in Los Angeles.
In LA?
In LA. Guess how much their mortgage is?
Let me see. I'm trying to do calculations. About 35,000.
Between $1 million and $5 million. That's gotta be for the year.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't
there's
say.
there's no way.
But it's from their financial disclosure form filed in May covering 2023. It's gotta be a year.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, that
That's
that
wild.
cannot be a monthly mortgage.
Their mortgage.
Yeah.
Girl, how you paying that on a $400,000 salary? I want to No. Oh
No.
my gosh.
No accusations.
Miss Harris also has a book. She's made more than $450,000 in royalties during her first year as VP for her 2019 memoir, The Truths We Hold. And she also has a children's book called Superheroes Are Everywhere. So she's made some money from that, nearly $500,000. And then we've got taxes. So Miss Kamala regularly publishes her tax returns. We love
That's
to
good.
see
Yeah.
it. The filings show that before she took office as VP, she and her husband used to pay very high tax bills, more than $1 million in 2019 and more than $500,000 in 2020 and 2021. However, when her husband quit his job at the law firm, their tax bills shrank to under $100,000 per year. Dang. Their filings also reveal they have charitable contributions, so they definitely donate to charity, and they've actually, it's a lot less than I would have thought. They total more than $20,000 in charitable donations each year of her vice presidency, and they've donated to causes ranging from California universities to Jewish organizations to DC Central Kitchen. We love DC Central
Yeah.
Kitchen. They're a kitchen that feeds the unhoused. Sorry, I glitched.
Yeah.
they they have a they feed the unhoused and the needy in DC. So they do donate, but man, I would have thought they would have donated a lot more, but also that's not a lot. I mean, under $100,000 in taxes. How much does the average American pay? I wish they had told me that. After a quick Google search, the average income tax rate is about 14.9%. The typical earner paid $14,000 in federal income tax. That doesn't include payroll tax, like Social Security and Medicare. So I'd probably round that up to like
Yeah, about
16,000.
17, 18.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
those are the
All
figures.
right. So yeah, I mean probably about what, 5 to 7 times more in taxes?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It could be a lot more for people that own multi-million-dollar homes, but
Yeah.
hey,
Oh
at
well.
least they pay their taxes.
All right. All right. Next.
All right, the next one is Mr. Donald Trump. So these numbers are going to be honestly like hilarious in comparison. Guess Mr. Trump's net worth. So, reminder, Kamala Harris's net worth was about $8 million.
Yeah.
How much is Donald Trump's net worth? Take a guess.
Is it
It's
9?
more than 99.9% of American households.
Is it like, I don't know, 500 million?
You're way off.
Way low?
Way low.
800 million.
$3.9 billion.
No way.
Yep. More than 99.9% of American households, which, not to get on like a political soapbox here, but I do want to say this. It's kind of crazy to me that talking about making 200K and what that looks like in our area and talking about how it's comfortable, but
Yeah.
not a lot. And oh my gosh, I came under so much fire for that
So much
clip.
scrutiny.
So much people were saying like you're unrelatable, like you got
You're
rich
so
and
out of
famous, so you're
touch.
out of touch. And it's just wild to me because you hear so many of Trump's fans say he's for the people, he's one of us, yada yada. And it's like, okay, when I make $200,000, I'm unrelatable and I'm out of touch. But you think this man who's worth $3.9 billion gives a crap about you?
Billion.
That man is on another planet. He's not out of touch. He's out of this atmosphere. I digress. Moving on. So, investment and business income. So, he gets a federal pension because he is a former president. But much of his income comes from his businesses. So, using broad ranges, I love the T that they they put in there. So, we don't have exact numbers. He's like Citibank with that $0 to $1 million salary range. So, Trump reported at least $635 million in income from real estate, hotels, resorts, and golf properties during 2023. Much of his net worth is now due to his stake in Truth Social's parent company, Trump Media and Technology Group. The company went public in March and reported a $16.4 million quarterly loss last month.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw something about that like if that goes under, he loses a lot of his net
That's
worth.
crazy. I mean, but like he still
Yikes.
has a
He
lot
put all
of.
his eggs in
He'll
one
still get like a
basket, didn't
lot
he?
from real estate though.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately.
Which brings us to real estate. The Trump Organization's portfolio lists properties around the world, including at least 4 commercial properties in New York and California, along with at least 9 hotels in North America, Europe, and Asia. In forms filed this year, Trump reported some details of his income from properties, including $161 million from the golf course at his Doral Resort in Florida. And in forms filed in 2023, he reported income of $284 million from the sale of the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Wow. I just can't even fathom
Honestly.
284 million. It's moving on.
Like, what do you do with that money? Like, honestly.
I would hope give back, but I don't think so. We'll get to, maybe we'll, he doesn't even have a donation section. Never mind. He does
Well,
not.
there you go.
Royalties. Mr. Trump also has a book. He reported on his latest disclosure that he earned about $300,000 in royalties from the Greenwood Bible, a version of the Bible he encouraged supporters to buy that includes lyrics from Lee Greenwood's song God Bless the USA, and about $4.4 million from his 2023 book, Letters to Trump, which features letters Americans wrote to him. Do they get a portion of
I don't think
that?
they do.
Probably not. Moving on to taxes. I'm trying to keep this as
Yeah.
apolitical as possible and just give you the facts. So, taxes. Trump resisted releasing his tax returns until a Democratic led House panel published 6 years of the documents in 2022. The filings showed that he paid little in taxes for many years by reporting major business losses. In other years, he paid as much as $999,466. So, he paid almost $1 million, as he should. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
making that much money, I
You're a
hope you're paying
billionaire.
taxes.
Like, yeah, you should be paying at least
I
a
saw
million in
something that
taxes.
said that that number sounds crazy, right? Like $1 million in taxes. Oh my God, he's paying his worth, yada yada. Yeah, but if I wish I had
Yeah, it
known
was
what
like
it was
comparatively to.
comparatively of how much they make. It's actually like literally they make that in a day.
Yeah, it's like less than
It's
1%, honestly. And like,
it's nothing to
yeah,
them.
to him, like $1 million is how
He
like
wipes his butt with
yeah, like
that.
how regular people look at pennies. Like,
Literally.
do you care
Crazy.
about it? Not really,
I don't
because
think anybody should be that rich.
that's crazy.
That's wild. Liabilities. So he's got some legal issues, as we know. His latest report lists more than $15 million in liabilities owed to both writer E. Jean Carroll and the New York Attorney General. So his lawsuits have definitely
Mm,
cost him a pretty penny. The actual payments might end up costing more than $500 million. A federal court jury ordered Trump in January to pay Carroll over $83 million after she won a civil defamation case against him. And in February, a judge ordered the former president to pay New York at least $454 million for civil business fraud.
wow.
Of course, he's appealing the decision. But, I mean, it's just crazy to me. You want a man to be our president who literally owes $450 million to a state for civil business fraud? I don't care what you think, witch hunt or not. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Oh, definitely.
And that is just the common case with him. Whatever. All right, so now moving on to the vice presidents. Let's start with JD Vance. I think JD is really interesting because they talk about his home in this, which is a home in a neighborhood that we
Oh,
dreamt
yeah,
of
that's
buying
right.
in.
Yeah.
He lives in
Del Rey.
Delray.
Yeah.
So sad.
Such a beautiful community,
I
too.
love Delray so
Yeah.
much. We used to live near Delray when we were in our apartment building at Potomac. We
Yeah.
used to live across from the Potomac Yard shopping area, and we would ride our bikes. This was during Corona, like
Yeah.
the COVID, the panini. Yeah, this was during the panini.
Yeah,
We used
during
to take
COVID.
our bikes and ride our bikes into Delray and grab a pizza and put it in our basket and ride our bikes home, and
Yeah.
the memories. That was such
So
a nice
sweet. It was
time.
such a great time.
But now he lives there. So let's see. He is a multimillionaire. Can you guess his net worth? You
Um,
think it's more or less than Kamala Harris?
more.
Yeah.
Um, I'd probably say like 68 million.
10 million.
Oh,
Yeah, only 2 million more. So he's a
I don't know much about
multimillionaire,
the
but
guy
he's
though,
not.
so
Oh, well, let's talk about it. So he made a splash with his 2016 memoir about his Appalachian roots and his journey through the military to Ohio State University and Yale Law School. After the success of his book, he had a brief but lucrative career as a venture capitalist. Before he was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2022. With between $4 million and $12 million in assets, Vance at 40 is far wealthier than most people his age. So his salary. He's a senator, so we know his salary. It's
yeah.
public. He makes $174,000. His wife is also a lawyer, or she works at a law firm she left her job at the girl. Why'd you leave your job? I love the flip though, where I'm like, I see Doug Emhoff who left his job to support her, and I'm like, we love a supportive spouse, and then she quits her job, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Why are you doing that?
Definitely a double standard, but I think I just like really support women staying in their roles and men kind of, if they're able to, supporting.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff have kids. I mean, he has kids, but they're grown.
Yeah.
They don't have children at
And it's
home.
also like not common at this point too.
Yeah, but JD Vance has young children at home. So his
Mm.
wife, have left her job at a large law firm to support him and to take care of the children at home, which I'm not a huge fan of. But when she did work there, I guess they went and looked up a job posting from the law firm. So they were listing the
Cool.
pay, and they assume it's not a helpful range, but they say that the law firm used to pay most lawyers a salary between $215,000 and $415,000 per year based on experience. So she was a lawyer.
Okay. Yeah,
So she made a solid
She was
salary.
pretty decently paid.
Lawyers make good money.
Yeah.
But investment income, here we go. So he worked as a venture capitalist, which is basically fancy speak for made a lot of money. So in his 2023 Senate financial disclosure form, he valued his venture capital holdings at more than $600,000. He also said he had hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings accounts, millions of dollars in mutual funds, and between $100,000 and $250,000 in crypto. The total value of the couple's reported assets is between $4.1 million and $11.8 million. So their income on investments was somewhere between, so they made between $201,000 and $1.2 million on their investments.
That's a huge
big range.
Huge range. Like
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Back up. You missed a spot.
I'm like, wait, she's skipping numbers. What are you?
Yeah, they're skipping numbers. No, that's a wide range. So they give themselves a lot of padding there.
Right.
So their home in Delray, you know how much their home costs? I
Like-
feel like you're gonna be able to guess it because we know
it's
how
like
much
1.4.
$1.6 million.
That makes sense.
And when I said that 200,000 is comfortable in this area, but like does not afford you a life of luxury, it's because the homes around here all cost $1 million.
Yeah, damn near every house is $1 million house. The apartment that we are in right now, we just walked through the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that most of the homes we passed,
Minimum $1 million.
at least $1 million.
And you're going over 2 in this area. Like, please, if you want to have a fun little tier,
Yeah.
go to Zillow, look at homes in Arlington, Virginia, pour one out for us,
Yeah.
because it's rough out here. It's hella expensive, so it doesn't surprise me.
Well, and the thing is like a lot of these
They
are
also own a
family.
townhouse.
A lot of these are family neighborhoods too,
Right.
So like, because I know we'll get people, oh well, New York is expensive. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. We're talking about family neighborhoods now.
Family
And
homes.
every home is $1 million home.
There's no such thing as a starter home
Yeah,
around here.
there's no such thing as a starter.
Minimum cost for a house, and we can talk about we own a house.
We own a house.
We got very lucky. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
in another
next
episode.
episode.
But our house cost $600,000, and the
Yeah.
only reason we could afford it is because of your time in the military. Thank you, because there's no way we could afford anything like that. It's crazy. I don't even
we'll talk
know.
about that in the next episode.
It's crazy how we afforded it. I know some people are gonna be like, that's still $600,000. We actually didn't have to pay a lot of money up front to
Yeah.
get it, and we'll talk about that. Whatever. So they also own a DC townhouse that they rent to tenants. So they've got
Okay.
real estate.
Yeah, smart.
So that townhouse is valued at $500,000, like I said. So a townhome, not even a home, $500,000. Actually, it's worth between $500,000 and $1 million.
Yeah, that's $1 million townhouse.
That's
It's
$1
in
million
DC.
townhouse. Yeah. And they literally in 2022 they reported collecting between $15,000 and $50,000 in rent. That's a huge range again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's got the best-selling book that was adapted into a Hollywood movie called Hillbilly Elegy. that he reported earning
What is it?
way less in royalties than I would have thought. He actually only got $54,000 in royalties.
That's more realistic,
Yeah,
though.
that's definitely more
Yeah.
realistic. But I mean, yeah, that's way more realistic, but also it became a movie. Like you would think that it would be a lot more. And this is funny. Do you know how much he paid in taxes?
I don't know, $75,000.
Nobody knows. He hasn't released his tax
Oh, good to
returns.
go. Good to go.
So we don't know. We don't know. He's in the right crew. He's
Yeah.
with the right people.
He knows who he's hanging out with.
Now let's talk about Tim Walz, because there's something about this man that is so endearing to me, and his finances is a big part of that. And I love that all our thing is about money and how much people make and the
Yeah.
value of jobs and stuff. And I think that he is really, through his finances, demonstrates he's a solid person. And I say that apolitically. Like I would feel that way if he was leaning right as well. Like I think that this is how he should be the model for government employees, especially those in high leadership positions. So,
Okay.
what is Tim Walz's net worth? Can you guess?
Is
Compared
it
to all these other candidates we've talked about.
is it lower?
Lower, way lower.
Okay. If I had to guess, I'd say 2 mil.
1 mil. 1 mil. And what does that come from? So let's give you a little bit of background about
Okay.
Mr. Walz. So after joining the Army National Guard and earning undergraduate and master's degrees from I don't know if I'm saying this right, Chadron State College in Nebraska and Minnesota State University, Walt spent his career in education and government. He and his wife, Gwen, also a lifelong educator, have sizable public pensions and retirement accounts, but little in way of other savings or investments. Like about 35% of Americans, the Walzes don't own a home.
Wow.
They do not own a home. We know his salary because it's public information. As governor of Minnesota, he reported on his tax return that he earned $112,493. And his wife also reported how much she earns as an educator. I think I shared this with you, but do you remember how much it was? Can you
No,
guess?
I don't.
I was unhappy to see it because it's not a lot.
Oh yeah, she's an educator. That's
She's a
right. It's like 60,000.
51,000.
Look at that.
Which is like horrible for an experienced educator. I mean, she's
Yeah.
not just starting, but also kind of nice to hear something that a lot of other teachers would relate to.
Yeah, definitely.
And then for investments and pensions, the Walz's tax forms and financial disclosures indicate that they have no taxable investment accounts, such as stocks or mutual funds. They have multiple retirement accounts, though, from their jobs in government and education. So, according to their most recent tax return, they withdrew $135,000 from their retirement savings in 2023, and they used that money to pay for what? Can you guess? I bet you could guess this. They have a daughter.
A boat? I don't know.
She didn't vote for it. They
Her
withdrew
education.
Her education.
Yeah.
They withdrew $135,000 to pay for Hope to go to college
That is super
from
wholesome.
their. Well, they shouldn't have to do
Yeah,
that.
definitely shouldn't
Like that's
have
crazy.
to, but
But
like
I mean,
it's crazy that
talk
they
about
did.
American experience.
Yeah.
That's very relatable. I mean, the cost of education is wild. Most colleges right now are over $40,000 a year, and that's not private, that's public.
Yeah.
Real estate, so they don't own a home. They sold their home in 2019 for $304,000 when they moved into the governor's mansion. So, when you're the governor,
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
So they sold their house because they didn't need it because they get to live in the governor's mansion. Before the move, they had taken out a second mortgage on the house and rented out a room. I mean,
Wow.
it doesn't get more average than that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sadly, like it's just crazy that when you look at this, it's like I relate so much to him, and I'm like, this is like, I love that he's got the same experiences as so much of us, but then it just like really puts it into perspective, and I'm like mad that we relate to
Yeah,
that.
honestly.
Because nobody should have to do that. To pay for education, you have to take out of your savings to.
So what do you do after you retire?
Right,
You
and
know?
to survive, you have to rent out a room in your house. Like you have to take out a second mortgage. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But it's nice that he is that way. And then let's talk about taxes last but not least. Waltz made his tax returns public for many years. We love to see it. In 2023, he paid $54,000 in taxes, more than twice as much as he has owed in other recent years because of the large one-time withdrawal from retirement savings. So
Yeah.
you take out those retirement savings, you
You
got
gotta
to
pay
pay the
taxes.
you pay the tax. He doesn't have mortgage interest or property taxes to deduct, so he regularly takes the standard deduction on his tax returns. I mean, Tim Walz, what a stand-up average American guy.
Yeah, definitely
The
speaks to the
waltzes.
average American.
The waltzes.
Yeah, he's making you said 112,000, right?
112.
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
how much I was making
112?
at the
112?
last spot that I was at.
Yep.
Yeah.
I made more than him as a senior data analyst.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. I just think that's enlightening. I read those numbers and I was like, this is fascinating. I want to share this with all of you. And hopefully, you guys played along and did the guessing game with us. And I hope you all found that interesting as well. But, there's a really big election coming up. And I'm not going to get on my soapbox here. I think everybody can take those figures for face value and make the
Yeah.
decisions that, resonates with them. And I'll leave you at that. But please vote. It was National Voter Registration Day the other day, so hopefully you're all registered to vote if you're listening to this, and if not, please make sure you are, and we'll see you at the polls.
Yeah.
So those are our 2 cents.
We'll end it on that.
We'll end
Yeah.
it on that.
Yeah.
Next week, I guess we can try to talk about something interesting. Maybe I'll run a poll. So if you're listening on Spotify or any of our platforms, answer the poll. Let us know what you want to talk about, what you want us to talk about next week. And here are 2 cents on.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys for
Bye.
listening.